Why, hello there everyone. I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. So this female that you're seeing actually ate her Eggsac at 18 days. So it's not a very pretty sight, but I gotta tell you how it is. So let's get straight into it. So this is around 2 AM in the morning, and yes, it's pretty late, but as you can tell, I'm very desperate because I see my female grooming herself and I don't see her Eggsac. So looking upon the opposite side of her enclosure, she actually ate her Eggsac, and it is not pretty. As you can see, all the eggs are pretty much have been chewed out. And I know a lot of you are wondering, how does this happen? A lot of people try to give reasoning. Some people say it's stress, others say that it's because the female is hungry, and sometimes the female just does it because she wants to. Honestly, we're not too certain as to why females do this at times, so there's a lot of possibilities, so we don't really know why they do this at times. But in this case, she still ate her Eggsac. So how to save these eggs? Separate the good eggs from the bad eggs. Then use room temperature water and spray down the good eggs, because you don't want the egg fluids that the female caused from eating her Eggsacs to be on these good eggs. Because what that does is it actually causes the eggs to be sticky, and also it causes the eggs to actually struggle to molt into first instar, because the stickiness pretty much acts like a second layer, which isn't good when they're transitioning from eggs with legs to first instar. So you're essentially just spraying off the goop and then drying them off on a paper towel, then place them in the incubator, and they should be fine if you've done a well enough job of washing off the goop. So onto another Eggsac, and as you read, this is an Eggsac tear, and essentially what happens and what causes this is that it happens when a female is making her Eggsac and there's too much excessive webbing. So what happens is when the female is done laying the eggs and she's tearing down the webbing to fold it up into a proper Eggsac, sometimes the webbing is too strong or too much, and the female pulls or tugs on the Eggsac too heavily, which this causes the Eggsac to sometimes tear open, or in worst case, the female will actually use her fangs to try to tear down the webbing, and sometimes she accidentally tears into the Eggsac, which causes the eggs to be exposed and causes the eggs to rot. So in my experience, I'd say you have at most maybe 3 hours to get them into an incubator or try to patch up the Eggsacs before they get too exposed to air or external factors. And trust me, when eggs rot, they rot very quickly, especially if they're still freshly laid. So what causes this? In my experience, this usually happens with first-time females. So any first-time moms, when it comes to tarantulas, usually do this. And yes, all of these bad Eggsacs that you're seeing today are from first-time females. So these are first-time mothers, even the one that ate her own Eggsac. This is essentially the risk that you take when you breed a female for the first time. Now, is it common? Not really, to be honest, in my experience. Sometimes it's just bad luck. In this case, I have really bad luck because it happened to 3 of my females. One ate her Eggsac, and then 2 of them teared their own Eggsacs. So I want to make something very clear. When I say Eggsac, I mean tarantulas that lay Eggsacs that actually carries them. Not necessarily tarantula species that lay egg hammock Eggsacs, such as Embafori and OBTs. Those species will lay hammock Eggsacs. So essentially, when it comes to Eggsac tears, it doesn't really happen with those species. It's more so the species that lay actual Eggsacs, not the hammock ones, guys. So if this happens to you, the question becomes, what do I do? So essentially, you want to free the Eggsac to help the mom out. So if you see any webbing that is stuck onto something, just cut it with either a sharp pair of scissors or find a way to get it unstuck. I made a video actually about a stuck Eggsac with my Poecilotheria ornata. I'll leave in the top right. So go check it out if you want a more better understanding of how to actually assist a female when it comes to stuff like this. Now this Caribena versicolor's Eggsac was actually not good because she actually teared it open because the Eggsac was stuck. So it was another Eggsac tear and the eggs dried out. And I hope that everybody who watches this will learn something, because I have to say, no tarantula breeder is actually teaching this stuff or things that can happen. So this is my knowledge and my experiences to you guys. Now when it comes to my tarantula knowledge, a lot of it I'm going to be passing it down to an apprentice in the future once I have an apprentice. But for the sake of this video, I pretty much gave you guys some of the breeder's tips that I would actually pass on to an apprentice. So this is pretty much really good knowledge for some of you guys, especially aspiring tarantula breeders. So if you have questions or things that you want to know about in terms of tarantula breeding, just leave it down in the comments down below and I'll answer them if I can. But let's not end on a bad note, because these here are my Poecilotheria striatus, and as you can see, they have egg sacs. 2 of my females actually dropped egg sacs, and these egg sacs are good looking. Now, it's hard to see because the enclosures is a bit foggy, to put it simply, I guess. So it's hard to see, but the egg sacs are good. I will be pulling these in the future, so stay tuned, and let's hope that these eggs are good, right? But as I was saying though, I really hope that people can learn from this, or learn something from me. And if you have questions, just leave it down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Now in the future, I will make an update video on the eggs that I did save, from the female that ate her own egg sac. And yeah, let's call this egg sac the Nemo egg sac. So if you want to name these babies, I think there's 15 eggs, just leave a name in the comments and then I'll most likely just use them. So without further ado everyone, I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay updated to whenever I upload here on the channel. I upload every single Friday, so if you want to learn about tarantula knowledge and everything in general, please support me by subscribing, and also support me on Patreon, and follow me on my IG and my Twitter. And with that, stay lax, and Laxow out from the Kumo Sensei.